What are the most important issues in Windsor, Essex, and in Chatham County?
I think one of the most the biggest issues around southwestern Ontario is the fact that we are facing challenges, whether it's around manufacturing or others. We have an economy that needs to be properly diversified across this country, and a government that has put all its eggs in the high oil price basket, and now that situation has changed, is scrambling to try and catch up. And one of the things that I've had great conversations with across the region with various folks is the fact that people in the Windsor region and all across southwestern Ontario are very resilient, and there are tremendous opportunities for job growth, for investments, for improvements and more jobs. We just need a partner in Ottawa in this place, and we haven't had that in a long while, and that's people are happy to see the Liberal Party sitting down and engaging with them.
Since 2006, the federal Liberals have been unable to take any sort of hold in rural Ontario. What will it take to reestablish the party's presence in smaller Ontario communities?
It's going to take an awful lot of hard work, and that's what we've recognized. Over the past 10 years, the Liberal Party has declined all across the country, and that's what we've been working so hard to turn around on. And I look at our results in by-elections, I look at the great candidates coming forward right across the country, I look at the positive response to positive politics that I'm seeing, of people realizing that politics doesn't have to be about cynicism, about division, about attacks, personal attacks. It can be about working together to solve problems, and I know that Canadians all across rural Canada, as well as elsewhere, are responding positively to our message.
What are your thoughts on the concerns being raised about the contract for military vehicles for Saudi Arabia? Given the country's spotty human rights record, is it worth overlooking that record to protect the hundreds of jobs in London that rely on that contract?
I think obviously good jobs are important, but the Prime Minister needs, in this case, as in many other cases, to demonstrate a greater level of frankness and transparency than he has. Where we're going through a bit of a challenge right now on the economic file, on the international file, because the Prime Minister made assurances and said one thing in the fall that turns out not to be true around our combat mission in northern Iraq. And when dealing with delicate and important issues like this, the Prime Minister needs to be a lot more forthcoming with Canadians.
The area has been lobbying for a heavy oil upgrader to process oil sands bitumen. It would be a huge project requiring transport from west to east by pipeline, which proponents say is safer than rail or truck. Just your thoughts on that. Well,
Mr. Harper has, over the past 8 or 9 years, engaged in a very unfortunate and failed experiment of saying that what if, of pushing aside community buy-in and social license on one side, and ignoring the need for environmental action and oversight on the other side, to try and just focus on the development of oil resources and the transportation of them. And what he's discovering is you can't create projects like that unless you have social license, unless you have strong environmental oversight. And whether it be the United States, not moving on a project that's important to us, or trading partners, or Canadians, putting up very real concerns about these projects, it's because the Prime Minister has mishandled it and has not demonstrated that his fundamental interest is to look out for the well-being of Canadians and our long-term environmental security. That anxiety is causing people to resist directly against projects that would be good for our economy.
This one comes from Carolyn Weatherson. Will you consider setting aside a designated percentage of federal infrastructure funding specifically for clean energy initiatives to spur innovation and job growth?
Oh, I think that's a great question, and it's certainly something we need to do. We need to be making sure that investments in clean energy and renewables are there, so Canada can participate in an energy economy that moves beyond fossil fuels. It's not going to happen tomorrow, but it will happen in the coming decades, and Canada needs to be a part of it. division that still exists in some people, particularly politicians' minds, that there's a choice to be made between environment and economy is completely false. You can only build a strong economy if it's based around responsible environmental processes, whether it's a better efficiency, less pollution, a clear thought to reducing emissions. These are the kinds of things that are going to make us economically successful in the coming years.
Okay, this one from Bill G. He writes, the working poor and poorer can't make it paycheck to paycheck. What will your party do to help those that support those people directly, such as food banks, shelters, and soup kitchens? These are now commonplace today and will require supports to help those here in Canada. We send millions across the world to feed the hungry. What are we doing to stop the hunger here at home?
One of the things, and my background, Bill, is in community advocacy. I spent a lot of time working in various nonprofit and charitable organizations. The fact is, the funding that government gives is all too often based on a project basis. So you qualify for this, invent a new program that we're going to be able to announce as politicians, and we'll fund it for a year, then you have to come up with something else. What our community organizations need, particularly those who serve the most vulnerable, is a steady, predictable source of funding, core funding from the government, so that they can focus on delivering these services and not simply on spending all their time trying to figure out how to fill out grant applications and do a little fundraising. Government needs to understand that civil society plays an extraordinarily important role in making our communities work, and if people weren't to do that, government would be outlaying many more times the money it does now invest in supporting civil society. So it's an efficient use of taxpayers' dollars to support community programs like this. We need to do a better job of it, though. Building on our human resources, on Canadians' drive to succeed, to work hard, to contribute, our good education levels, our work ethic. These are the things that are going to make Canada successful, and that means understanding that manufacturing is a key part of our success. So how could a government be a better partner? Whether it's investing in education and training so that manufacturers wanting to set up here know they can find skilled, qualified workers, whether it's making sure the infrastructure is strong enough to get goods and workers from home to work, and goods from the manufacturing site to markets across the country, across the continent, and around the world. Or whether it's just making sure that we're investing and supporting the kind of innovation and research and development that means that Canada will be a driver of new products in the coming years. There's lots of things that government needs to do to be a better partner to manufacturing companies and make sure that those investments are coming to Canada.
And how does it make you feel when you see Canada lose out maybe in a bid, for something to maybe the US or even Mexico?
I think there are going to be challenges that we're facing. Mexico can offer labor costs that we can't, but Canada has so many other advantages that we have to do a better job of partnering with companies like Ford and others to draw in that investment here, to say, look, these advantages here means you're going to get a better product. This means you're going to get better opportunities, better growth, whatever it is. There is a real case to be made for Canada, which is an extraordinary country and is going to be a really important player in the coming years, and that's what we have to keep selling.